What's up, people? It's AlphaBlue here, and it's another day on my channel with technical analysis on Euro USD and GBP USD. So, guys, today is NFP day, and it's the first of 12 NFPs for the year. And I want to show you guys how to go about trading NFP. I've made several videos on how to trade NFP, but I think I can't stress it enough, especially that this is the first NFP of the year. So I just want to make another video, show you guys how to trade NFP. Very, very simple strategy that will help you not lose your money and also help you make more money. So guys, this is the XY on the 4-hour time frame. Now, before I go to Forex Factory and show us uh what to expect or how to read the NFP data. First of all, you need to understand that NFP is non-farm payroll, and this is the data that is released once every month, the first Friday of every month. So this is the first or second, but then this is the first NFP for the year. And then usually whatever data is released is either going to be good for the dollar or bad for the dollar. It's either going to be good for the dollar or bad for the dollar, depending on what the data is. Then this is DXY. DXY is the dollar strength index. This is like dollar measured against other assets, other currency pairs to show you the strength of the dollar. So DXY, whenever NFP is released, if the data is good for the dollar, you will see that DXY is going to spike up, is going to go up, meaning that the data is good for the dollar, right? Because DXY measures the strength of the dollar. If it's bad for the dollar, it's going to spike down. So NFP data release, it's either going to cause two reactions in the market. It's either going to be good for the dollar or bad for the dollar. But some of the times, you get to have like mixed data release. The data is going to be mixed. So when that happens, the market is either going to go up or down. It's just going to range. There's not going to be any clean, smooth spike in the market. You're just going to see it whipsaw, go up and down, and then just range, and there's not really any serious price movement. So that can also happen. So three things to expect before NFP data is released. It's either going to be good for the dollar, or it's going to be bad for the dollar, or it's going to be mixed, whereby you just have the market range in one place. So we're not going to be trading DXY. We're only going to be trading Euro USD or GBP USD. And to be honest, you don't even need DXY to trade the NFP, because you don't need to come and see what the DXY is doing before you know what to trade on Euro USD or GBP USD. Because whatever happens on DXY, the exact opposite happens on Euro USD. So you don't have any business even checking the DXY chart. So let's go to GBP USD and see what it is. So this is GBP USD on the 4-hour time frame. If NFP data is released and the data is very good for the dollar, what will happen is that dollar is going to spike up while GBP USD is going to spike down. So if the data is good for the dollar, dollar will go up, GBP USD will spike down. If the data is bad for the dollar, dollar will go down, GBP USD will go up. The same thing with Euro USD. So you don't really need to even look at the DXY before you come and look at your GBP or USD chart. You can just be on your GBP and USD chart, and then you know exactly what to do. Then another thing is that you must not even go to the Forex factory to look at what the data says. You can just do that for confirmation, because most of the time, when you have a very straightforward data release, you will see it on the chart because of how the chart will react, how like massive the move is, how crazy the spike is, will indicate to you that the data was actually very good for the dollar or very bad for the dollar. So in GBP USD here, it will have a very strong spike to the upside, a very massive spike to the upside. It's very obvious that the data was very bad for the dollar. That was why dollar went down and GBP USD went up. So it's very, very straightforward and easy. Now, let me go and show you Forex Factory so that I show you how to read the data, how to interpret the data, and how to use it to trade NFP. So first thing you need to know is that there are actually up to 3 or 4 data that you're going to be looking at. First one is average hourly earnings. Second one is non-farm employment change. The third one is unemployment rate. Then we also have these ISM services. I'm not sure these ISM services is always there. Some of the times you just get to see this 1, 2, 3, the first three, right? So these are the data that are going to be released by 2:30 p.m. today. Oh, yeah, exactly. This ISM is for 4 p.m. So sometimes you don't get to have this. Most of the times you just have these first three because these are the like main NFP data that are going to be released today. Whenever you hear NFP, this is it, these first three: average hourly earnings, non-farm employment change, unemployment rate. So this is the data that is going to be released. So you have the previous data that was released, then you have the forecast. Then actual is the data that is going to be released today by 2:30 p.m. So whenever you see forecast and actual, you're going to be waiting for the actual to be released. Then you see what the actual is in comparison to the forecast. Now, if I open this file right here, I'm going to read what it says. So usual effect, read what it says here at usual effect. That's how this data is going to affect the market, or the effect of this data on the market. Actual greater than forecast is good for currency. Actual greater than forecast is good for currency. So in this case now, if we have a data that is 0.5% here, it means that the actual is greater than the forecast, which is going to be good for currency. So USD is going to be good for the USD, right? It means that it's going to be good for DXY. It means that if we have a 0.5% here, it's going to cause DXY or USD to push up, to go up, to buy, meaning it's good for the dollar, which will consequently mean that Euro USD, GBP USD, they are going to sell. You understand? Euro USD, GBP USD, they are going to sell, even gold as well. So that is what it is. Then the next one, it says actual greater than forecast is good for the currency, good for currency as well. So if we have an actual here that is greater than this forecast, it's going to be good. Then this one, actual less than forecast is good for currency. So that is just what it means. Now, you don't really need to stress yourself to read all of these things. When the data is released, it's going to be released in either color green or color red. That is also a very easy way to know whether the data is good for the dollar or bad for the dollar. If all of these three data that are released are in color green, it means that they are all good for the dollar. That will give you a very strong buy on the dollar, a very, very massive, strong buy on the dollar. If all of them are color red, it means that they are all bad for the dollar. What will happen is that it's going to give you a very strong sell on the dollar. So what you want to look out for is you want to look for when all of the three data are in support or are not in support for the dollar. You get? You want to look for when that is the best time you're going to get a trading opportunity on the NFP. You don't want a mixed data. When the data is mixed, it means you're going to see some are going to be green, some red. Maybe you see two green, one red, or two red, one green. That's not the kind of market condition you want to be trading when NFP data is released. You want a situation whereby all the three data are going to be green or all the three data are going to be red. Either case is fine. All we just want is a very one-sided NFP, one-sided strong NFP. So that's what we want. So today, if NFP is released and all of them are green, fine. It means they are all supporting the dollar. They are all good for the dollar, which will mean that dollar will go up, Euro USD will go down. So when you go back to the chart right now, when you go back to the chart, what the chart does will also give you an idea of whether it is completely in support of the dollar or not. If it's in support of the dollar, that means all of the data are green. What will usually happen is that you see a very strong sell because green, all of them support the dollar will buy, whereby this GBP USD will sell. So once you see a very strong sell or a very strong buy, it's very obvious. It means that the data is clearly in support of one side. The data has one-sided bias. You can go to Forex Factory just to confirm, check for yourself and see what the data is. If you see that the data aligns completely, all of them are in one side, then bro, that is the time you want to trade. That is the time you want to trade. So having explained how this NFP, how you can read and understand what the NFP data is and how it affects the market, now I'm going to show you how to trade it. I'm going to show you how to trade it. So first of all, I need you to understand one rule. You have no business trading in the morning before NFP. If you're a trader, you have no business trading the morning, that London session before NFP is released. You have no business trading the market because the market is not going anywhere. The market is just going to be ranging. Usually, most of the time, the market is going to be ranging because everybody is just waiting for NFP data to be released before they go into the market. So if you come in and you're eager, you think you're seeing some setup, you want to jump in, bro, you're likely wasting your time because you're most likely wasting your time because the market will just range and even stop here before it does anything. Or it could range, and then NFP data is released, it just spikes you out. If you're lucky, it spikes in your favor though. But that is not the time you should be trading. You don't want to reach that. That's number one rule. Then the second rule for trading NFP is that you don't predict before the data is released. I see a lot of traders doing that. I am a Forex trader with over 4 years of experience, and I'm going to tell you for a fact that if you're doing that, you're just gambling. You're just gambling. If you have $100, $500, you want to gamble with, you want to risk it, fine. But that is not a sustainable way of trading. You cannot trade that way and expect to be, to be consistent for a long time because that is a very bad trading habit. You don't predict before the data is released. Some people, they are going to put buy stop, buy, sell stop, and then wait for either of them to be triggered. Whichever is triggered, it goes into profit, fine. The problem with that is that on times where you have mixed data released, the market will just whipsaw. The market will just range. It will go up, come back down. So you have both of your limit orders triggered, and then you're just going to be messed up, having both position in losses, and you could still get slipped. Your position will not be triggered at where it's supposed to be triggered, and all of that. So there's actually no need trying to predict the direction of the market because it's pure gambling. You can never say for a fact, or you can never be 100% certain that the market is either going to go up or down. It's only after the data is released that you will see that. So why try to, predict where the market will go to and say, okay, this looks like the market is going to sell, so I'm going to sell right now. So that when the data is released, it just sells off very hard. No, you're not. You should not be doing that because that's just pure gambling, and you're likely to lose your money. There's everything is against you. So that's the second rule of trading NFP. So the one way you should be trading NFP is wait for the data to be released. You read the data, see what the data is. If the data is all the way in support of the dollar, that is when you want to be trading. If it's all the way against the dollar, that is when you want to be trading. So you're going to use that to your advantage. So let's say this NFP today now is all the way good for the dollar. That means everything on that place I showed you is green. When this data is released, it's either going to show in green or red color, right? If everything here is green, it means that the data all the way supports the dollar. So if the data all the way is good for the dollar, it means we're going to see a strong sell in in GBP USD like this. You see a very massive sell candle. That is when you want to trade. That is when you want to trade. So when you see a massive sell candle like this, don't rush in. Just chill. Wait for the market to retrace. Wait for the market to retrace. Just wait for the market. It will usually will come back, take out some liquidity here before it continues selling. So the idea behind this logic of trading is that once the data is completely in support of the dollar and is completely supporting one side, that means you have a fundamental bias. You have a strong fundamental reason why the market should either sell or buy, right? So when you have that reason in place, all you need to do is to just wait for this spike to be corrected a little bit. It doesn't really, it must not come back all the way to correct it. Sometimes it just corrects a bit, takes out some liquidity that the market may have left here, some weeks. Usually you go to the 1 minute time frame. You go to the 1 minute time frame. So once it comes back, takes out any liquidity you see here. This liquidity will be in form of weeks. It will be in form of week or anything, you don't wait for it to fill out all the imbalance you have created, because most of the time it doesn't fill out all the imbalance, especially when the data is very strong in support or against the dollar. So you're just going to wait for it to pull back a bit, fill out some imbalances. No, not imbalance, sorry. Take out some liquidity here. Those liquidity usually come as weak, right? So once it takes out that liquidity, you just sell the market and then you target below. So you could just target 1 to 3, 1 to 4, or any other, area of interest here. Maybe liquidity down here, like this point, we have this low here. You could target it, or you can just target any imbalance or any area of demand. So that is how you should trade the news. You wait for the data to be released, and also make sure that the data it favors you, is completely in favor of the dollar or against the dollar. We want to see a very strong data that causes a serious massive push in price, either down or up. Any way it goes, we're still going to trade it. Once you see that massive spike, you check Forex Factory, you see that everything here aligns, everything is either green or everything is either red. Good. That is when you want to now start looking for an entry. Come back to your chart. You wait for that big spike to just give you some little correction. Sometimes it will take maybe 2 hours, 3 hours for that correction to set in, then the market continues selling. But definitely it's going to sell. Now, this is an edge. I have seen this thing play out several times. I've seen this thing play out a lot of times. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen 100% all the time. There are a lot of things that will make it not happen. One, either the data doesn't align completely, either you have a mixed data that will spoil, or it's a sign that you have no business trading here. But whenever the data aligns completely, even at that, some of the times it doesn't really come back to give you a nice, retracement to take out some liquidity to continue the sell. Sometimes they may just continue trickling down, selling off without giving you a good sign of entry. But I am telling you that there are times whereby after this huge spike, the market will come back, take out some liquidity, and give you a very, very clean entry. You could just enter the market at that point. Usually, I'll just risk 1% on my account and target at least 2 to 3 to 4, and then you're out of the market. That's usually a very easy way to, make a 1 to 3 or 1 to 2% of your account. So that is it, guys. That is it. I hope you found value in this. And if you have any question about this strategy, you can ask in the comment section. Don't hold back. Ask your question. If you have any question, ask. Don't hold back. Now, let me give you an example on this chart, because you may not you may not really understand what I meant. So now let's assume that this is NFP. This particular spike right here is NFP data that was released, right? So a typical way of waiting for liquidity to be taken out, even though in this case it was not taken out, is that you wait for it to come and take out a wick like this place right here. You see this wick line here, right? You wait for price after the spike, you wait for price to come back and take out a wick like this, then show you signs that it wants to continue buying, maybe gives you a bullish engulfing candle or a strong bullish candle, then you buy and put your stop loss below. So what I will do is, in this case, I will buy somewhere around here, right? And put my stop loss below here and target up. So what will happen is that after the NFP data is, forget about this. Don't look at this. I'm just using this as an example. What will happen is, after the NFP data has been released and the data supports one side, in this case, the data was bad for the dollar. That was why GBP USD bought this hard. And the data was very, very bad for the dollar. So you had this very strong spike to the upside. Usually, you will have the market, when it's forming this spike on the lower time frames, like 1 hour time frame, 1 minute, 5 minute time frame, you're going to have price. You're going to see price leave wicks like this. You could see another one down here. You could see another wick somewhere here. You could see, so you just look for the wick that is at this more discounted, right? You look for the wick that is more discounted. So in this case, there's no any other wick for me to show you around here. But then just imagine that we had another candle that gives a wick like this, So you will look for the one that is more discounted. Once price comes into that week and takes it out. In this case, it didn't take it out because this is not even NFP. This is something else. But once price comes and takes out that week, right? You will now look for, you start looking to buy. Once it gives you a sign that it's going to buy, once it gives you a bullish candle that pushes up, you buy and put your stop loss below the week. And then you target above. Now, another thing I want to make you understand is that this stuff, you don't get scared that there's a huge imbalance below, because most of the time, this imbalance doesn't even come to get filled out. The market will continue buying. Just like in this case, whereby the market continued buying and left this imbalance without filling it. It still bought for a very long while before price started reversing, right? So that's the same thing that usually happens. When it's NFP, the market doesn't come back to filling the imbalance. No, it just comes down a bit, takes out some liquidity and continues pushing up. So you don't get scared that there's imbalance below. No, just take your trade and target above, because there's a strong fundamental reason why every market participant will want to buy. You understand? Like every market participant at that point is looking to buy because the data has supported that the market is going to be bullish. So that is exactly what everybody is trying to do. So that's why you don't, get worried that there's imbalance. No, just look for a liquidity to be taken out around this point, or any discounted liquidity that the market creates, while it's pushing up. Then take your entry, target above 1 to 3 or 1 to 4, and you're good. You're good. So that is just a very simple, clear-cut way to trade NFP. I hope you got value from this. If you got value from this, don't forget to like the video, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and then do well to join my Telegram. Check the description of this video. You'll find the link to my Telegram, where I'll actually be trading this NFP live with you. I'll be showing you how to trade the NFP. So I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. Like the video, subscribe. See you in the next one. Cheers, guys.